The most dangerous enemy is not always the person who openly attacks you. Sometimes they sit beside you, laugh at your jokes, ask about your life, and call themselves your friend. Hidden resentment rarely announces itself directly. It appears in small reactions, strange silences, disguised jokes, and the uncomfortable way someone responds when your life begins to improve. And the first sign is often this: they celebrate your failures more easily than your success. One of the clearest ways to understand a person's true feelings toward you is to watch what happens when your position changes. Words are easy when nothing is at stake. Anyone can call themselves your friend when your life is ordinary, when you are struggling in familiar ways, and when there is no reason for comparison. The real test often begins when something happens that changes the balance between you. You succeed, you improve, you receive attention, you gain confidence, you achieve something they once believed was beyond you. Then watch carefully. A friend who genuinely wants the best for you may still feel envy. Human beings are complicated. Even good people can experience jealousy for a moment. But a healthy person eventually manages that feeling. They do not turn your success into something they secretly need to diminish. A person carrying deeper resentment often reacts differently. When you fail, they become animated. Suddenly they have time for you. They ask questions. They offer advice. They want to discuss every detail of what went wrong. They may appear deeply concerned, and sometimes they genuinely are. But pay attention to the emotional energy beneath the concern. Is there a strange comfort in the way they discuss your problems? Do they seem unusually relaxed when you are struggling? Now compare that with how they behave when you bring good news. You tell them you achieved something important. Their response is brief. Nice. That's good. You're lucky. Then, almost immediately, the conversation moves somewhere else. Perhaps they mention someone who has achieved more. Perhaps they point out the risks. Perhaps they remind you that success does not mean much yet. Perhaps they find a way to make your moments smaller without openly criticizing you. The contrast is what matters. Do not judge one reaction. Study the pattern. Some people are comfortable with your weakness because it allows the relationship to remain psychologically familiar. Your struggles do not threaten their position. In some cases, they may even feel stronger around you when you are vulnerable. But success changes the emotional structure. If you become more successful, confident, attractive, disciplined, or independent, they may suddenly have to see themselves differently. Your progress becomes an unwanted comparison. You did not attack them, you simply changed. And sometimes that is enough to create resentment. This is one of the uncomfortable truths about human relationships. People do not always resent you because you harm them. Sometimes they resent what your existence forces them to confront about themselves. Your discipline may remind them of their excuses. Your ambition may expose their lack of direction. Your confidence may make them aware of their insecurity. Your success may force them to question why they stopped trying. Instead of dealing with those feelings internally, they may unconsciously direct them toward you. That is why your success can sometimes make certain people colder. You expected celebration. They experienced comparison. You saw a personal victory. They saw a change in the hierarchy. And this is where hidden hostility becomes subtle. They rarely say, "I dislike that you are succeeding." That would expose them. Instead, they reduce the achievement. They question whether it will last. They explain why it was not that impressive. They focus immediately on what you still lack. They may even disguise their resentment as realism. Don't get too excited. Anyone could have done that. Let's see how long it lasts. You're starting to change. The words may sound harmless individually, but repeated over time, they reveal an emotional pattern. A person who cares about you does not need you to remain unsuccessful in order to feel comfortable. They can correct you without enjoying your embarrassment. They can criticize you without secretly hoping you fall. They can celebrate your progress without feeling personally diminished. That is the difference. Pay particular attention to moments when you are at your lowest. Failure reveals character, but it reveals the character of the people around you as well. Who protects your dignity when you make a mistake? Who speaks about your problem as if it is entertainment? Who repeats your failures long after everyone else has moved on? Who seems unable to let you escape an old version of yourself? Some people become emotionally attached to your weakness because your weakness gives them a role. They become the advisor, the superior one, the rescuer, the person who always knows better. But when you begin solving your own problems, their importance changes, and they may not like it. Your independence can expose relationships that were built less on friendship and more on imbalance. The same person who seemed incredibly supportive when you needed them may become distant when you no longer do. That does not automatically mean they hate you, but it does mean you should observe. Real friendship does not require you to remain broken so that someone else can feel useful. It does not require you to remain unsuccessful so that someone else can feel superior. It does not require you to hide your progress to protect another person's ego. The people around you should not need your life to become smaller for theirs to feel meaningful. There is another sign worth noticing. Watch what they do with information about your failures. Do they keep it private, or does your mistake somehow become known by people who had no reason to know? Someone who secretly resents you may treat your failures as social currency. Your mistakes give them stories, your problems give them material. Your vulnerability becomes something they can exchange for attention. They may say they are just concerned, but concern protects, gossip distributes. There is a difference. And when you succeed, notice whether they share your good news with the same enthusiasm. Some people will tell 10 people about your failure and no one about your success. That imbalance is rarely meaningless. Again, the goal is not paranoia. Do not turn every quiet reaction into proof of betrayal. People have bad days. They may be dealing with private problems. They may not know how to express enthusiasm. They may genuinely have concerns about your decisions. Look for repetition. Patterns tell the truth more reliably than isolated moments. If someone repeatedly disappears during your victories and becomes highly involved during your failures, pay attention. If they consistently reduce your achievements but remember every mistake, pay attention. If they encourage you when you are weak but become uncomfortable when you become strong, pay attention. You do not need to confront them immediately. You do not need to accuse them. Observation is often more useful than confrontation. Once you accuse someone, they become aware that you are watching. Then behavior can change temporarily, but patterns revealed naturally are more difficult to fake. Give people enough freedom to show you who they are. And understand something else. Hidden resentment is not always conscious. A person may sincerely believe they are your friend while still carrying envy they have never examined. They may care about you and resent you at the same time. Human beings can hold contradictory emotions. That is why the situation is often confusing. Someone can help you in one area and compete with you in another. They can love your company but dislike your progress. They can admire you and secretly want you to fail. Your task is not to simplify people into heroes and villains. Your task is to see them clearly. Their compliments always contain a small attack. Open hostility is easy to recognize. Hidden hostility is often disguised as humor, concern, honesty, or even praise. That is why you should listen carefully to the structure of a person's compliments. Some compliments lift you. Others lift you briefly and then quietly push you back down. You actually look good today. I didn't think you had it in you. You're smarter than I expected. That worked out surprisingly well. At first, these statements may sound positive, but notice what the compliment depends on. Before they can praise you, they must remind you that they expected less. The approval is attached to a small insult. And when this happens repeatedly, it can reveal more than a sense of humor. It may reveal a need to maintain psychological superiority. The person wants to acknowledge your achievement because ignoring it would be too obvious, but fully celebrating you would feel uncomfortable. So they find a compromise. Praise you while quietly reducing you. This allows them to appear friendly while preserving the old hierarchy. The most effective disguised attacks are difficult to challenge because the speaker always has an escape route. It was a joke. You know I didn't mean it like that. You're overthinking. I was complimenting you. Perhaps they were, but once again, do not become trapped in a single sentence. Look at the pattern. Does this person regularly use humor to target your insecurities? Do they embarrass you in front of others and then call it teasing? Do they compliment you only after first reminding everyone of your weaknesses? Do you consistently leave conversations feeling slightly diminished, even when nothing openly hostile was said? Your emotional response is not perfect evidence, but repeated discomfort deserves examination. Some people are skilled at delivering small attacks that are too minor to justify confrontation and too frequent to be accidental. Each individual comment seems insignificant. Together, they create a message. You are not quite enough. Do not become too confident. Do not forget your place. Do not take yourself too seriously. The purpose may not always be deliberate, but the effect can still be real. A genuine friend can joke with you. They can tease you. Friendship often includes humor. The difference is whether the humor moves in both directions and whether respect remains underneath it. A healthy joke does not repeatedly strike the same wound. A healthy friend notices when something genuinely hurts you. Someone carrying resentment may become more interested once they discover the exact place where you are sensitive. They remember it. They return to it. They bring it up when other people are present. Then they watch your reaction. That reaction itself can become rewarding to them because it confirms influence. This is why emotional boundaries matter. You do not need to laugh at every insult simply because it was delivered as a joke. You do not need to create a dramatic confrontation either. Sometimes a calm refusal is enough. Do not reward repeated disrespect with forced laughter. Let the moment become quiet. Let the person feel the absence of your participation. People often reveal more when their usual strategy stops working. The deeper lesson is simple. Friendship should not leave you constantly decoding whether kindness contains contempt. You should not have to become smaller so another person can feel larger. And when praise repeatedly arrives carrying a hidden blade, listen not only to the compliment, but to what it costs them to give it. They become uncomfortable when you change. Some friendships are built around an old version of you. When you become more confident, disciplined, successful, or independent, the relationship changes. Suddenly, they joke about the new you, suggest you are becoming arrogant, or encourage habits you have outgrown. Your growth disrupts the role they assigned to you. They may not miss who you were, they may miss the advantage they felt around you. A genuine friend adapts to your growth, even when it changes the relationship. Someone carrying resentment often tries to pull you backward because the old version of you was easier to understand, influence, and feel superior to. They gather information but rarely offer genuine support. Some people ask about every detail of your life, not because they care, but because information gives them access and entertainment. They want to know your plans, problems, relationships, and weaknesses, yet disappear when you genuinely need support. They remember your failures, but show little interest in helping you overcome them. Watch what happens after you reveal something personal. Do they protect it, respect it, or quietly spread it? Curiosity is not loyalty. Someone can know your deepest secrets and still not care about your well-being. Real friendship is measured not by how much someone knows about you, but by how responsibly they handle what you trust them with. They compete with you in things that should not be competitions. Healthy competition can strengthen a friendship, but hidden resentment turns every success into a contest. You share good news, and they immediately mention something bigger they achieved. You improve, and they rush to prove they are still ahead. Instead of celebrating with you, they compare. Over time, you may begin hiding your victories simply to avoid the uncomfortable tension that follows. A real friend can be ambitious without needing to defeat you emotionally. When someone treats your progress as a threat, your friendship becomes an invisible scoreboard where they feel secure only when they believe they are winning. They support your goals only when they believe you will fail. Some people encourage your ambitions because they secretly consider them harmless fantasies. They support you while your goals remain distant and uncertain. But when progress becomes real, their attitude changes. Suddenly, they emphasize risks, question your ability, and advise you to slow down. Genuine concern helps you improve. Hidden resentment quietly weakens your momentum. Watch the timing of their doubt. Do they become more discouraging precisely when your efforts begin producing results? A true friend may warn you about danger, but they do not become uncomfortable simply because the dream they once dismissed is becoming possible. They are different around other people. Pay close attention to how someone treats you when an audience appears. In private, they may seem warm and loyal, but around others they suddenly joke at your expense, reveal embarrassing details, interrupt you, or compete for attention by lowering your status. An audience can change people's behavior because social approval becomes more important than friendship. Occasional teasing is normal, but repeated public disrespect is a pattern worth noticing. A genuine friend does not need to make you smaller to appear larger. The way they protect or sacrifice your dignity when other people are watching often reveals what your relationship truly means to them. Your boundaries suddenly make you the problem. As long as you are available, agreeable, and easy to influence, everything may seem peaceful. Then you say no, protect your time, disagree, or refuse a request, and suddenly you are accused of changing. This reaction can reveal entitlement disguised as friendship. Some people do not value you as much as they value access to you. Healthy friends may feel disappointed, but they respect your limits. Someone carrying resentment may punish your independence with guilt, silence, or criticism. Watch carefully what happens when you stop giving people what they expect, because boundaries often reveal whether they respect you or simply prefer controlling your availability. They become quiet when something good happens to you. Silence can reveal what words attempt to hide. When you share meaningful news, notice who becomes distant, gives a brief response, or immediately changes the subject. They may congratulate you, but there is little curiosity, enthusiasm, or genuine interest. Compare that with the energy they show when something goes wrong. A single quiet reaction proves nothing, but repeated emotional withdrawal around your success may reveal envy or resentment. Your progress can make certain people uncomfortable because it changes how they compare themselves to you. Watch patterns carefully, especially when someone seems more emotionally present during your failures than during your victories. You feel drained after spending time with them. Your instincts often notice unhealthy dynamics before your mind can clearly explain them. After spending time with certain people, you may feel guilty, tense, diminished, or mentally exhausted. You replay conversations and wonder why you felt the need to defend yourself. Do not judge someone from one uncomfortable interaction, but do not ignore repeated patterns either. A healthy friendship can include disagreement without leaving you constantly depleted. If you repeatedly feel pressured to become smaller, explain yourself, hide your success, or question your worth. Examine the relationship carefully. The emotional atmosphere surrounding a friendship can reveal what friendly words are trying to conceal. Not every friend who disappoints you secretly hates you, and not every awkward moment is evidence of betrayal. That is why intelligence requires observation rather than paranoia. Watch the patterns. Notice who becomes comfortable when you struggle but distant when you succeed. Notice the compliments that carry small attacks. the people who become uncomfortable when you grow, and those who collect information about your life without offering genuine support. Pay attention to invisible competition. Watch who encourages your dreams only when they believe you will fail. Notice how they treat you when other people are watching, and what happens when you finally create boundaries. Most importantly, trust repeated behavior more than friendly words. Real friendship does not require you to stay small. It does not punish your independence, compete with every victory, or leave you feeling constantly guilty for becoming stronger. The goal is not to accuse everyone around you. The goal is to see clearly. Because the moment you stop judging friendship by words alone, you begin understanding people through what they reveal when you fail, when you succeed, when you change, and when you no longer give them the version of you they were comfortable controlling. Protect your peace, but do not become paranoid. Observe people patiently and let their repeated behavior reveal their true intentions. Comment, I watch patterns, not promises. And if you want more powerful insights into human nature, psychology, and hidden social behavior, subscribe to the channel. Because sometimes the strongest thing you can do is pay attention to the emotional atmosphere surrounding a friendship, can reveal what friendly words are trying to conceal.